It was a nice day outside, especially just after a week-long storm. I'd spent almost every Saturday in my local game shop, Slackers. The place was just local, I think. I hadn't seen any stores. The shelves always had new weekly stock to check out. They even had music sections that I would occasionally browse. The owner of the store was pretty nice, at least 30 or so. Pretty laid back. I've gotten a Game Boy Color, which was a bit after its release 2000. So I went, as usual, to get the Game Boy cartridge section. There was an interesting cartridge on the very top shelf. I was only 12, so I couldn't quite reach it. On this stool that I kept around somewhere, and finally able to reach it. The cartridge was hard to take off the shelf, almost stuck there. About 30 seconds of prying it finally broke off. The cartridge was still intact. The cartridge had no label, it was just simply written in Sharpie free. I'd basically shrugged and asked the owner about it. "Is this game free?" said with a surprised look. The owner took it off from me and just shrugged as he saw the label. "I guess it is." He then handed it back to me, and then went back to reading his magazine. I put the cartridge in my pocket and began his usual round of the new stock. All the usual stuff. Pokemon, Kirby, all the stuff like that. After I realized I couldn't find anyhow, I went home. I went all the way home and I was strangely integrated by the blank cartridge, ready for anything. I went back home. When I got back to my room, it was just as I had left it, a typical 12-year-old's room. Spider-Man posters and left and right, supplies ready for school on Monday, and my old cleared Game Boy on the bed. I jumped into bed and popped the cartridge in. While it was loading, I was expecting some crappy game that never took up. The menu was what looked to be an innate field of grass, setting sun in the distance. There was also no title, just a big bold letter, Start. I pressed Start and almost instantly placed on the flat plane. Sun was the new menu, now at the very top of the screen. The character had a hat and a t-shirt on, pretty pixelated. I began to walk forwards from the arrow button and soon encountered a block. I touched the block and instantly died. I was taken back to the menu. During the next game I played, some seemed lowered by 1 pixel. I figured out that A was jump, so I jumped over the first block that killed me. Same process happened over a minute. Finding a block, then jumping over it, I encountered a pit after a while. Just 1 block wide. Seeing no challenge, I jumped, I hit some of the invisible wall, and fell into the pit. I pressed around the start button on the menu. The sun seemed around 3 or 4 pixels low. Nothing too odd, just unnerved me a bit. I arrived at the pit, which seemed to be the one I came to earlier. I got over this pit this time, feeling a bit accomplished. After a bit of walking, I came across a sign. The sign was very detailed for a GBC game. The game told me to press B to read the sign. Don't let the sun set. Sun, by what I had noticed, had been setting more and more each game. I wondered what happened if you did let it set without completing the game. I just touched the block over and over again, which each time sun setting more on the screen, getting darker. My heart was racing, so I was rebellious, which was a mistake. The sun finally set. The screen was almost pitch black. I touched the block and died again. The next time I played, it was broad daylight in the game, so I'd just walk and walk and walk. It seemed so interesting, absolutely nothing. I felt absolutely getting absorbed into the game. I was just walking. So one day, when the world blacked out, I was placed in the game store and waited to be picked up by a kid again. I was picked up and played. A strange kid. So I was walking, then I ran to a block and died. The next kid suffered the same fate, but I felt a decade-long spell being lifted as he did so. I was free. It made me wonder, am I nothing but some sick and twisted game doomed to walk to a plane for the rest of my life, doomed to pick up cartridges in the game shops. Maybe it's not so bad. It's taking a walk outside. Taking a walk sounds nice, doesn't it?